Welcome to the session on health issues for non-normative sexualities. Before we start about this topic, let us review some of the important components regarding the health, because these components will help you to understand the issues and challenges regarding health issues for non-normative sexualities. Health. The definition by WHO is: health is a state of complete physical, social, mental and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. So you can see here the basic components are four: your physical, social and mental spiritual well-being of any person. The enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental rights of every human being, without distinction of race, religion, political belief, economic and social conditions. That means every individual living in a country, in a state, in a district, in a region has the right for all the health services and being healthy. Concept of health. There were four basic concepts. It started from biomedical concept. That means there is some disease agent which causes the disease. If there is no disease agent, there is no disease, person is healthy. Over the time, the second concept was there regarding ecological concept. That means there is a man, environment and the disease agent. If they interact, there will be a disease. If they do not interact, there is no disease. Then came the concept of psychosocial components which influence the health of a person, which also included all the above ones also. That means your sociological, economical, psychosocial and political factors. Last one is holistic, which includes biomedical, ecological, psychosocial, all the factors, and dominating is your psychosocial factors and the political factors it influences, because all the decisions regarding the social sector, health, education, agriculture, industry, jobs, everything is taken by the political forces. Spectrum of health. Health of an individual is not static. It is dynamic and it is continuously changing. Health and disease lie on a continuum. You can see on the slide that when you get up one day in the morning, you may feel today I am very happy, I am healthy, and you feel like doing everything. Then because there is no sickness, it's freedom from sickness. Maybe next day you are feeling better. Positive health, it's very extreme. But maybe next week you may feel little lazy. There can be some unidentified sickness which may convert into mild sickness, sometimes severe sickness, and the extreme here is the death. So you can see here there is a positive side of the spectrum and the negative side of the spectrum. Concept of well-being. Objective component is your standard of living. That is, person who is availing all the services, all the comforts, number of, type, quality of these comforts or services, education, health, your other housing, water, sanitation, what is the quality and for how long the person is able to avail these services. So this actually donates the standard of living. And second is subjective component, that is quality of life, happiness, satisfaction with the family, with the work, and most importantly with self. How happy you are, how satisfied you are you able to adjust with the stresses of your life, how do you overcome if any problem comes. So you can see the well-being, physical, mental, social and spiritual well-being plays important role in quality of life. Now, social determinants of health. These are the factors which are non-medical factors, which actually has an impact on the health of a person. That is, they are the conditions in which the people born, they are grown up, they work, they live, they age. So these all have an impact on the person's life. Even the life course perspective, why we want to know from the childhood till the adulthood, what type of problem person has faced. Not only the physical problem, health problems, but related to the work, his own mental health, social health, because it influences in the old age. You can see here some of the determinants of health. They are socioeconomic conditions, economic status, education, occupation, political system. Health services, are they accessible? Are they affordable, available, functional? If all these things are there, are they being utilized by the people, and who takes the decision for their health? Gender, reproductive and sexual health, violence, aging, socioeconomic factors which influence all these things, culture, values in which the person is living. And other factors which influence the health are related to food, agriculture, education, industry, social welfare, rural development and many more others. So these are all social determinants of health which affect the health of a person, health of a population of a country. Discrimination runs counter to the global commitment to reach universal health coverage and the Sustainable Development Goals. This is by WHO. That means there should not be any discrimination if we want to achieve the universal health coverage and Sustainable Development Goal. Discrimination in healthcare setting is directly towards some of the most marginalized and the stigmatized population. On the other hand, as universal health coverage says, we should provide health services to everyone. Basic health services should be available to everyone. But if there is a discrimination to the people who are marginalized and stigmatized, what about the universal health coverage? We will be able to achieve UHC and SDG? That's a questionable. Discrimination in healthcare setting takes many forms and is often manifested when an individual or group is denied access to healthcare services that are otherwise available to others. Examples include specific individuals and groups being subjected to physical and verbal abuse, violence, involuntary treatment, breaches of confidence and denial of autonomous decision making. I will explain you later on with these examples with the LGBT groups. Addressing discrimination in healthcare setting will contribute to achievement of SDG and ensuring no one is left behind. It is a fundamental to securing progress towards SDG 3 goal, that is good health and well-being, including achieving universal health coverage. I think now you can relate why it is important that everyone, whosoever is there, people who can afford, who cannot afford, who are poor, who are marginalized or who are vulnerable, should get the basic health facilities so that every country can achieve SDG 3 and achieve universal health coverage. Discrimination against individuals who identify as LGBT, that is lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender. We will say LGBT in short in coming slides, has been common in many contexts including healthcare. That means they also have most of the issues, challenges, problems similar to the general population. They are not separate except they have some additional needs. Health disparities. They share many of the same health needs as the general population, but may have other specified healthcare needs such as gender affirming hormone therapy and various surgeries. LGBT individuals are at risk for health disparities and being underserved by health providers even in the absence of intentional discrimination. That means healthcare providers may not intentionally discriminate LGBT while providing the care, but still the system is like that disparities exist when they go for healthcare services. For example, LGBT individuals are 2.5 times as likely to have a mental health disorders as heterosexual men and women, and transgender individuals are at increased rate of suicide. I have quoted these from the studies. You can see they have more chances of mental health disorders, and suicide rate is very high. Lesbian women are less likely to get preventive cancer screening. Lesbian and bisexual women are more likely to be overweight and obese. Gay men are at higher risk of HIV and other sexually transmitted infections. Even the studies have shown that LGBT individuals have higher rate of smoking, alcohol and drug abuse. This is not only one study, but various studies have quoted this. LGBT adults and their children are more likely to be uninsured and face difficult to access the healthcare services. That like in the general population, there are many insurance schemes by the government under which they get the healthcare facilities, and they are being insured that they will be getting the basic healthcare services, reproductive sexual health services and various other through their childhood till the older age. But LGBT adults and their children, most of them are not covered under these schemes. They are uninsured. If they fall sick, either they do not go to the health system, and if they go, it's very difficult for them to afford in the private sector, and many a times in the public sector or in the other sector also, voluntary sector also, they are being discriminated. A study has been shown that healthcare professionals refuse to provide care to LGBT, blame them for their health status, refuse to touch them, and they are very harsh and they use abusive language. And sometimes they get physically rough or abusive also. So these studies have shown that they are being discriminated and there are health disparities. Despite awareness of sexual and gender disparity, lesbian, gay, bisexual genders, people continue to encounter invisibility, overt discrimination and violence and other barriers to relevant, respectful care. So you can see these are the grave issues. When a general population, people are able to get respectful care, why not LGBT? They are also human beings. Maybe some of their needs are different. They may have some other issues, but they have the right to health. They have the right to get the basic health care as other people have the right. Evidence suggested that transgender people often experience high burden of disease including mental and sexual health problems also. Even some of the evidence is there that young transgender people are in increased risk of HIV and sexually transmitted infections compared to their age groups. Trans LGBT children, young youth, they face sexually transmitted diseases and HIV. They are at higher risk. Their mortality and morbidity is very high. So these are the challenges. They also have the right to get the care as the children of the normal population. One of the study quoted that 25% of the participants who participated in this study reported that they get poor quality of treatment when they go to the healthcare system. Roughly 60% of the survey participants disclosed that their sexual orientation to either 34.2% or 28.5% of their healthcare providers they do not disclose, and they may very few disclose that they are LGBT because they are scared if they will come to know what is their sexual orientation, they may be discriminated because still people feel there is a stigma attached to LGBT people. 22% reported that they did not reveal their LGBT identity to the healthcare providers by the fear of negative reactions. These negative reactions actually demotivate them to go to the health system, and they suffer with various diseases because they hide their diseases. Initial stage, when the disease it's not spread, it is acute, they do not go. Sometimes like cervical cancer and other cancers if they face, when they reach the last stage, they go to the health system. 32.5% believe that the healthcare professionals have sufficient knowledge about LGBT issues. You can see it is a challenge. Only 32.5% believe that healthcare providers can understand what are their healthcare needs. So it is very important to reorient the healthcare workers about their health needs. 42.9% felt they are being respected as an LGBT person by the healthcare providers. So this is the group, maybe they are going and getting treatment and even recovering and taking the full treatment regarding their diseases. Health disparities experienced by LGBT people can be grouped into 4 categories: infectious diseases, chronic diseases, behavioral health problems, and quality of life issues. So you can see all these 4 categories will influence their physical, mental, social health. Then how can they live the good life? Quality of life is a big issue for the LGBTs. ICD-11. ICD-11 has redefined gender identity. First of all, I would like to say ICD-10 and now modified to ICD-11 is a morbidity pattern in which all the health systems give their monthly and the yearly report, and these all diagnosis morbidities are standardized. Whenever any people go to the hospital, these standard ICD-10 is being there in their computers. When doctor diagnose, they in front of that diagnosis they will go on adding number of patients they receive in the hospital. So ICD-10 is a standardized format which is being used for the morbidity pattern. Now ICD-11 is there, which has redefined gender identity related health, replacing diagnosis category of ICD-10 transsexualism and gender identity disorders of children with gender incongruence of adolescence and adulthood and gender incongruence of childhood respectively. Gender incongruence has thus broadly been moved out of mental and behavioral disorders chapter into new conditions related to sexual health chapter. Previously, all the problems, health issues related to LGBT were covered under mental and behavioral disorders, which actually created stigma among these people. But over the time, when it was reviewed in ICD 11, a separate heading under sexual health was given, and all the morbidity pattern of the diseases were diagnosed and clubbed under sexual health. This reflects evidence that trans related and gender diverse identities are not conditions of mental health, and classifying them as such can cause enormous stigma. That was a reason from the mental health main heading it has come out to sexual health, because there was stigma attached regarding mental health. Still in our country, if anyone have mental health issues, the stigma is being attached. People do not go and avail the health services, and already the LGBT were marginalized and stigmatized, and if all the diagnoses related to health problems were coming under mental health, it was creating more stigma. That's why they have taken out a separate chapter on sexual health. Inclusion of gender incongruence in the ICD should ensure transgender people access to gender affirming health care as well as adequate health insurance coverage for such services. So, the main purpose of taking it out from the mental health was the LGBT should get adequate health care basic services, and they should be also covered under the health insurance, so that they also get affordable, accessible, available healthcare services, so that the SDG can be achieved and universal healthcare can be achieved. You can see by the adoption of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goal and to pledge that no one is left behind, it was very important that these people should get their own identity, the basic healthcare services. Because health is a right of everyone whosoever is living in this world, irrespective of their sexual orientation. That's why you see now there, if any form is to be filled in the hospitals or the health institutions, there are in the, when we say name, sex, under the sex there is male, female and the others. So in others, LGBT, transgenders, all these are being covered. So the governments are taking care that these groups should not be marginalized and stigmatized, and they should get the best care what people are getting, because it is very important the way they are facing the mental health issues, cancer problems, infectious diseases, tuberculosis, HIV, AIDS, sexually transmitted diseases, RTIs, and the side effects due to smoking and alcohol use, and due to mental health problems. It's very important to accept this challenge and provide the health services. World Health Organization says the root cause of health inequalities are to be found in the social, economic and political mechanisms. Therefore, it is very important to bring in change in the policies, not only in the health policies but social, economic and the political mechanisms. Political decisions to be taken so that everyone is covered under the universal health coverage. By 2060, LGBT numbers will exceed 5 million and they will account for more than 20 million older adults. So you can see there is a big challenge. Time is not far. The health system has to get ready. They have to see how they can reach to LGBT children young, adults and the old age, because even they have to understand the life course perspective of the LGBTs also. If we do not understand their life course perspective, it will be very difficult to take care of their health issues. In general, so we can say LGBT should not be marginalized, they should not be stigmatized, rather it's very important they should be provided all the basic healthcare services to achieve SDG Goal 3 and universal health coverage. Universal health coverage means providing basic primary healthcare services to all the people, which is accessible, affordable and available with the functional health facilities. Social, economic, political factors play important role, and social determinants of health, which are non-medical factors, influence a lot to the health situation of these LGBT. Thank you so much.